Chicago, Chicago, Chicago. So recently, Chicago has decided to go batshit crazy. These niggas have decided in their mind that they want to die. They want to have a purge. They want everybody in Chicago to die because they have now made it to where people no longer have to pay cash bond even if they're being charged with second-degree murder and a myriad of other violent crimes. Let's take a look at it.
As of January 1st, 2023, the following things will go into effect, and people need to be aware of this. It abolishes cash bail for almost every offense. This includes, but isn't limited to, kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding. Monitoring have to be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. They could almost drive to Alaska before we can even look for them. It denies victims their constitutional rights. And keep this in mind, businesses and homeowners. Officers will no longer be able to remove trespassers from your residence or your businesses. Someone could decide to live in your shed, and all we can do is give them a ticket. You have to decide what level of force is required to remove them and whether or not it's legal.
So to me, what I don't understand is like, who the fuck is coming up with this shit? This reminds me of the DA in New York who was saying that, you know, people who are committing burglaries and murders and shit like that need to be coming home with no bond. Like, what is going on in left-wing, not countries? Because it almost seems like they're separate countries. You compare New York and Chicago to Georgia? Georgia? I mean, look, Atlanta has a bond problem, but no bond at all? Come on. Come on, bro. On murder too? Come on. Come on. No bond required to let them go? You can't be serious. But this is what's happening right now. Chicago, of all cities, can't be making this up, though. At least of all the cities in this country, really in the world, but really in this country in America, Chicago should be the last ones coming up with this rule because Chicago reached 800 homicides last year in 2021, the deadliest year in the last quarter century. In case y'all forgot, it's the 21st century. And we're in the quarter of the century. We're in the 2020s. We're pulling on 2025. And in this quarter of the century, last year has been its deadliest with 800 homicides. And in 2022, after the most deadly year in the entirety of this century, so far in this quarter century, they've decided to allow these people to just walk around free with no bond required after committing violent crime. Not only that, but they can also break into your property and squat or burglarize or whatever. And they're not required to leave, according to the police. So, for the first time, the police are saying, hey, look, we've been given a law by legislators that we don't agree with. We don't fuck with this law. We don't like this law. We're going to let you citizens know ahead of time that this is what they're passing. Even the Chicago PD can't wrap their mind around the foolishness that's been put in front of them by these legislators. Let this be a warning to people in Chicago. That city is done. It's over with. They want the black community in that city to kill itself. Let's just tell the truth. Let's just tell the truth. I mean, I know it's not what you're supposed to say, but it's the truth. In Chicago, the best way that they can think of for getting rid of these unwanted communities is to just let them murder and exterminate themselves. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to allow these murderers, burglars, assaulters, all of these violent criminals to walk back free with no bond required because it's rooted in systematic racism. Because apparently it's systematically racist to not allow someone who maybe assaulted, burglarized, or murdered someone to walk out on bond because they can't afford it. Right? It's systematically racist to apparently give someone a bond bail set price. It's systematically racist to give them that because they can't afford it. So let's forget the fact that they're terrorizing the community with violence. Let's instead think about the fact that they can't afford bond or bail. That's racist. that they can't afford bond or bail. What about the other black folk in the community who are being terrorized by violence? What about them? Chicago doesn't seem to be thinking about them. Chicago is instead prioritizing the feelings and the freedom of a segment of the community that is choosing to rob, rape, murder, burglarize, and terrorize. You don't care about the law-abiding black citizens of Chicago who don't want criminals walking their streets with no bond or bail attached to the crime that they just committed. You don't care about them, despite the fact that they don't want to be around these criminals. They don't want to be around these people who just committed a murder, who just committed a robbery, who just committed a burglary, who should be in jail but are instead free walking around because you want to make equality. Fuck the law-abiding black people in Chicago. We're instead going to prioritize the criminals in the community who rob, rape, steal, and destroy, and let them take the entire black community down to hell with them. This is evil. This is evil. This is unbelievable. What the fuck is Chicago doing? And see, what's going to happen is people who think like this are going to leave these cities because of how dangerous it's become and flee down to Atlanta, to Texas, bro, I can already see it. Y'all are going to come down to Nashville. Y'all are going to come down to all of these major cities down south. I'm imploring people in these states and cities such as New York City, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois. I'm imploring y'all in these states and cities to please vote these Democrats the fuck out. Get them out. Let's just tell the truth. These are Democratic leaders who are bringing about this chaos. They're bringing about chaos. We got to get these niggas the fuck up out of here. They got to go. They got to go. Because the reality of the situation is they are the ones passing these bullshit laws, being sympathetic towards criminals, as if black people are not law-abiding citizens. Making the lives of violent criminals easier is not making the lives of black people easier. The left seems to think that making the lives of black criminals easier makes the lives of the black community easier. It is not true. The left needs to learn to stop prioritizing black criminals. And I'm not talking about people who committed crimes 20, 30 years ago. Like, I'm talking about people who are current career criminals. The left needs to stop prioritizing current career criminals with a fucking bond over their head. Stop prioritizing them over law-abiding black citizens living in your cities. Stop. Stop prioritizing criminals over your law-abiding citizens in the name of equality and ending systematic racism. You are hurting the potential of these black communities by allowing criminals to return to the community. They lower property value, they cause destruction, they damage property, they ruin lives, they ruin their own lives, they destroy everything around them. You are not benefiting the black communities and the communities of color in your areas by allowing these criminals to simply Conor McGregor walk their way back into the community because you decided they shouldn't have to pay bail bond. That's not, it makes absolutely no sense to me. Make it make sense. Liberal legislators and politicians are killing the black community in New York and Chicago. Down south, it's a little bit different. But up north, the Democrats up north, I don't know what the fuck y'all are doing, but you're fucking up. You need to take a book. You need to take a page out of the Fani Willis playbook and lock these niggas up forever. Just lock them up forever. Take a page out of one of the best Democrats in the country, Fani Willis. Grab her, and follow her plan. Follow her playbook. Follow what she got going on. Because she's about to lock up all these crazy gangs in Atlanta. Up north, it seems like y'all are entertaining the gangs. Y'all want to help them blossom and grow. I don't know what the fuck is going on with y'all, but that has to stop. Stop thinking that prioritizing black criminals is somehow benefiting the black community. You are creating more chaos, more fatherless homes, more murder, more death, more drug addiction, more chaos, more police brutality by allowing criminals to reign supreme in the black community. You are not helping the black community by being sympathetic to its most destructive members. You are not.